So why America? I mean, why is this massive part of our world named America and not something like, say, Colombia? Well, the answer is this incredible story of ambition, pure accident, and a single map that literally changed the world forever.
Think about it. Christopher Columbus is the one who gets all the credit in the history books for that 1492 voyage, right? His name is on cities, countries, holidays, so why not on the two continents themselves?
Yeah, the story of how America got its name is not some straightforward tale of discovery and glory. Nope. It's actually a wild chain reaction that was sparked by confusion, corrected by a flash of insight, and then pretty much set in stone by a mapmaker.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of the name America, we have to start with the huge mistakes that kicked this whole thing off in the first place.
You see, Columbus was working with some seriously bad math. He thought the planet was way smaller than it actually is. So when he landed in the Caribbean, he wasn't thinking, wow, a new continent. He was absolutely certain he'd just found a new, faster route to the East Indies.
And that one geographical mistake immediately led to a huge, long-lasting human one. The name Indian, which was just born from this simple misunderstanding, has this really complicated and, let's be honest, often painful legacy that we're still dealing with today.
For years, all of Europe was just operating under Columbus's assumption. But then, another explorer came along and started to question that idea, proposing something that sounded, well, completely radical. And right here, this is where the story takes a massive turn. You've got Columbus, who, by the way, went to his grave believing he'd found Asia. But then you had this other guy, an Italian explorer named Amerigo Vespucci. After his own trips along the coast of South America, he looked at the sheer size of the coastline and realized, wait a minute, there's no way this is just an island or a piece of Asia. This has to be something totally different. A mundus novus, a new world.
And get this, Vespucci wrote these letters about his voyages, and they became instant bestsellers all over Europe. I mean, you can see why. He wasn't just talking about some new islands. He was describing a whole fourth continent that nobody in Europe knew existed, just teeming with people and animals. This idea just blew people's minds.
So Vespucci had the big, game-changing idea. But, you know, an idea is just an idea. It took a map maker to make it official and give it a name that would stick for, well, more than 500 years.
So let's just recap the timeline here. 1492, Columbus lands. About a decade later, Vespucci drops his New World bombshell, and then just 5 years after that, boom, we get the main event, the map that changed everything.
Okay, so enter a German cartographer named Martin Waldseemüller. He and his buddies were totally fascinated by all these new discoveries, and Vespucci's letters, they were the talk of the town. So when these guys decided to make a new, updated map of the world, you can bet Vespucci was front and center in their minds.
And this is it. This is the moment. In 1507, Waldseemüller puts out his world map, and it was absolutely groundbreaking. Not only was it the first map to show these new lands as a totally separate continent from Asia, but he slapped a name on the southern part, America. It's the Latin feminized version of Amerigo. In the book that came with the map, he basically argued, look, Europe and Asia are named for women, so why not name this new part after the man who discovered it, Americus? And just like that, America was on the map.
But putting a name on a map, that was really just the beginning. This brand new connection between two halves of the world kicked off one of the most significant, world-altering exchanges in the entire history of life on this planet. It's called the Columbian Exchange. And the most important thing to get here is that this wasn't just about people meeting. This was about two completely separate biological worlds colliding for the very first time. It was a transfer of life that would totally remake the planet.
From the Americas, the rest of the world got things like potatoes and maize, which fueled massive population booms. And can you even imagine Italian food without tomatoes? Or Thai food without chili peppers? All of that came from the Americas and totally transformed cuisines everywhere.
Now, going the other way, Europeans brought things like horses, which completely reshaped life for many indigenous nations. But they also brought something else, something unintentional and absolutely devastating, diseases to which the people here had zero immunity.
This number, it's just staggering. Historians estimate the diseases like smallpox and measles wiped out somewhere between 80 and 95% of the indigenous population within about 150 years of Columbus's arrival. It was a demographic collapse on a scale that is almost impossible to comprehend, and it is, without a doubt, the darkest part of this great global exchange.
So all of these events, the voyages, the names, the exchange, they aren't just stuck in the past. Their legacy is very much alive, and it continues to shape our language and how we see the world today.
Remember that second big mistake we talked about? Well, Columbus's name, Indian, it stuck around for centuries. But it's a name that was born from a simple map-reading error. Today, it's widely seen as inaccurate and, frankly, offensive. Much more respectful terms are Native American or Indigenous American. But honestly, the best practice is always to be specific and refer to someone by their nation whenever you can, like Cherokee or Navajo or Lakota.
So, when you boil it all down, that's the story. A geographical mistake, an explorer's amazing insight, and a cartographer's map. That combination didn't just create a continent's name, it unleashed a global exchange that completely reshaped life on Earth.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Our whole world is built on a foundation of stories just like this one, a mix of planning, total accidents, and pure chance. Kinda makes you wonder, what other hidden histories, what other forgotten stories are still quietly defining the world we live in right now?